He came out last night planning to give a fiery anti-American speech, but ripped it up because he had just spoken to President Trump.
Today we spoke on the phone for the first time since he became president.
He was shown Mr. Trump's unexpected tweet saying it had been an honor to speak to the Colombian president, a few days after calling him a drug dealer and saying he'd better watch his ass.
Obviously, I had my concerns. I was delayed getting here because the call only ended right before I arrived here. It lasted for more than an hour. He let me speak, so I tried not to talk too much, but that's hard for me.
The crowd were thrilled. Their left-wing leader has been one of the strongest voices against the US attack on Venezuela, yet has now been invited to the White House.
Peace is found through dialogue, and that's why I accept President Trump's proposal to talk.
A small parallel demonstration in Cúcuta was attended by none other than Simón Bolívar, who led a successful 19th century rebellion against the Spanish and inspired the 20th century revolution in Venezuela. Here he is again with Hugo Chavez and Nicolas Maduro and the Venezuelan Interior Minister.
Venezuela was the victim of a crafty barbarian attack where, up until now, and I say up until now, you have 100 people dead. 100.
A funeral for Cesar Augusto Garcia Palma, one of those 100, who appear to all have been Venezuelan and Cuban soldiers, killed in an operation which President Trump says will mean that the US will run Venezuela for the next few years. The revolutionary anti-imperialist government which these men died defending, he said, will be forced to buy only American products. The money, according to Trump, will come from Venezuela's plentiful oil reserves. But American companies are reluctant to invest in neglected infrastructure, especially as Venezuela remains unstable and taking all the proceeds, as Trump suggests, may be illegal. Venezuela's interim president has the impossible task of defending the remnants of the Bolivarian revolution while pleasing her new master in Washington.
Venezuela is open to energy relations where all parties benefit, where economic cooperation is very well determined in commercial contracts.
The Colombian president has set himself up as the peacemaker.
We want to establish a tripartite dialogue, and hopefully a global one, to stabilize Venezuelan society, so that, like in Colombia, it doesn't explode into violence within itself.
His supporters may see a mission to stabilize Venezuela as Gustavo Petro's moment. Cynics might just say, good luck with that.
Well, I'm joined now from the Colombian capital, Bogotá, by Colombia's Defense Minister, Pedro Sanchez. Welcome to the program, Pedro Sanchez. I'm slightly confused and I wonder if you could help me out. On Monday, President Trump described your boss, the Prime Minister of Colombia, as basically a drugs baron. On Wednesday, a swell guy. So which is it?
I just only say that when nations work together, criminal laws. Colombia and the United States share the same objective, the fighting drugs, with different but complementary strategies. The strategy to combat consumption is very different from the strategy to combat production. We are at a crucial moment in which both strategies can be better synchronized to defeat this common enemy. On one hand, we expect better mutual understanding of each country's strategy. Our strategy has two components: oxygen, which means providing opportunities for people to move away from illegal crops. Hence, we ask to the world to buy cacao, no coca.
But let me just interrupt you there, Minister. I mean, are you going to get your own house in order? Are you going to stop the considerable flow of illegal drugs from Colombia to the United States in order to avoid the Americans doing to you what they did to Venezuela?
I will say that from our perspective, that the cooperation military between Colombia and the United States is not at the risk, even is the opposite. We are facing unique opportunity to further strengthen the relationship that has existed for decades between the United States and Colombia, its principal partner and strategic ally in the hemisphere in drug fighting. President Donald Trump acknowledged this by saying it was a honor to have spoken with President Petro, and our president expressed the same.
But hang on a minute, I'm sorry to interrupt you again, but can you actually trust Donald Trump? I mean, he's been using very negative language about your leader and about your country. Can you trust Donald Trump that he will not use America's military might against your government sometime soon?
We trust in the United States because Colombia is a democratic country, maybe the oldest one, and we have the president elected by democratic people. He's legal president, and we share a common enemy, is the drugs. The enemy is not the nation, are the traffic, international crime.
Okay. But Denmark is a democratic country, and America is threatening to take away Greenland. Europe is full of democratic countries that the United States has now openly declared, are really going to be treated a bit like enemies. Can you trust Donald Trump? Or do you think that this is America bossing it in the Western Hemisphere, as they have said they would?
We trust in the word of the President of the United States. And he said yesterday, it is a honor to speak with the President of Colombia, and we are going to work together to defeat one common enemy, the drugs.
But are you saying this, sir, because you're afraid?
No, I just only say United States and Colombia share democratic values. We share a long relationship, and we share a common enemy, the drugs. And we are working together for decades to defeat the drugs.